Good evening. This was a viewing that, not unlike The Phantom 2 Saturdays ago, I've been looking forward to probably more than most, definitely more than most of the movies in this box set here. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Before I get to that, we started while we were cooking, listening to the radio broadcast of the War of the Worlds, the one that fooled everybody into thinking that aliens were actually invading, the Orson Welles. We listened to that. And if you follow me on Twitter, I tweeted the exact link that we listened to. And we then moved on because today was a Stephen King day. We watched Gerald's Game on Netflix, and we might watch another Stephen King when I'm done doing this. I finished The Stand. That's why it was a Stephen King day. It was a special accomplishment. The book is 1,141 pages long. I'll link to my blog post about it if you're interested. And after that, we watched Treehouse of Horrors 20, which has the Dial M for Murder. Oh, and the Moe musical, Moe Phantom of the Opera thing sketch, which is always fun to see. But main event was The Creature from the Black Lagoon, which when I first watched the Big Eight back in 2000, I guess, this was the surprise of all of them. I didn't know what the creature was, even with the Wolfman or the Mummy. I knew what werewolves and mummies were, kind of. This I didn't know anything, and being a water monster myself, I was able to identify very quickly with this thing that moved around underwater the way he did, and wanted to be underwater the way he did. And an interesting thing that I learned first reading that little booklet back there, and then watching the documentary Back to the Black Lagoon that comes with this. We turned it off before it talked about the plots of the subsequent films, Revenge of the Creature and The Creature Walks Among Us. Two different actors played the creature. One played the creature for underwater scenes, and I believe that was Rico Browning. And then Ben Chapman played the creature, the Gill Man, for on land scenes. I might have been reversed, but I'm pretty sure I got it right. The movie is kind of Jaws meets Jurassic Park. And not just because there are parts of the score where it sounds a lot like the score of Jaws, but I'm not accusing any composers of anything. It starts with they find a fossil of one of the Gillman's fellow Gillmen's arms, and then they go looking for more of a fossil, and then they find the living fossil that is the Gillman. But they've invaded the Gillman's space, and the Gillman tries to leave them alone, but eventually gets sick of them and decides that they have to die for invading the lagoon, which is at the end of a tributary of the Amazon River and virtually untouched. Not unlike the place where they filmed the Black Lagoon scenes, which was a place in Florida that the person who owned it had left it wild. And I wonder what condition it is in now. I'd like to visit it regardless. So they find this, he's kind of a dinosaur, but living dinosaur, but he's also a water monster, which is where the Jaws comes in, also the Jaws theme. Also when the Julia Adams character, one of the scientists, Kay, goes for a swim, we see her from the creature's perspective, and it looks like the woman swimming at the beginning of Jaws. The outline at the top of the water, and we are looking up from the water monster's point of view. So there's that element too. I'm guessing that Steven Spielberg is familiar with this movie. Let's see, what else? It's got great music in it. Recurring theme, not unlike they use certain themes in monster movies like Jaws, and that's a startling sort of theme. Thought I'd have a lot to come straight to me to say about this because I've been waiting so long to watch it. The look of the monster. This is the only monster so far that was never human. It is human adjacent. That's part of the point, is that it's a potential missing link, but it was never human. It never had a personality. Even Frankenstein's monster, which was essentially a thing for the last several movies, that it was asleep for most of the movie and then they woke it up to do some damage. But in the first three movies, at least, it had a personality. It was a human being. The Phantom is a human being. The Wolfman is a cursed human being. The Mummy is a long dead, also cursed human being. Dracula is a cursed human being. The Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein's monster are human beings assembled together, but they are human. They have personalities. The bride never learns to speak or doesn't get much of a chance to do anything, but still human. The Gill Man is a fish monster, a water monster. It's more of an animal than human, although he does naturally fall in love with the human woman, but not because he himself is human. And he's just an animal defending his territory. And so that is another thing that makes these movies stand out among the classic monsters. And being inhuman, he has a very inhuman look I mean, again, the Mummy, all the bandages and everything, the Wolfman, the heavy makeup, but you can see the people's eyes. The monster, the creature here has fish eyes that presumably the person playing them, their eyes are behind the fish eyes, but they are like the big black eyes with the gold rims. There's a wonderful shot. They've captured the monster, and they've got the monster in this kind of tank, and then they have a bamboo cage-like thing over the top of it to keep the monster down, as though that would work. And they have a couple of shots of just through this opening in the bamboo, straight down at the monster, and the monster's face is just, the monster's just sitting there looking up, and you don't know if it's asleep or what, but just sitting there looking up, and it's very creepy because we've seen this thing move, we've seen it swim, we know how powerful it is, but it's just sitting there looking up, and it doesn't have human eyes, it doesn't look pitiful, it's just, what is it thinking? And I loved that shot. I also, in the documentary, pointed this out. Another shot that I loved was Julie Adams' character flicks her cigarette into the water, and then we see the cigarette land in the water from under the water, and then it pans down. You see the monster looking up at the cigarette, and I thought right there, ooh, it's the people who wrote and directed this movie do not like people just throwing their cigarettes or any garbage places, and it gets also back to the theme of this monster is not cursed, it's not looking for revenge, it's just defending its territory, and part of defending its territory is keeping it clean of toxins from cigarettes. So so many things that to say about this movie. I have seen Revenge of the Creature. I may have seen The Creature Walks Among Us. It remains one of my favorites of the monsters and of these movies, up there with The Bride of Frankenstein and The Invisible Man. It is one of the top movies. Like, while The Wolfman based on legends, but a new story. Same with The Werewolf of London. This based on even flimsier legends. The idea of a missing link creature, the idea of legendary fish monsters, even humanoid legendary fish monsters, all sewn together to make this, but not as legend to story as even the Wolfman. So an impressive and unique story in that sense as well. This movie among those 30. Revenge of the Creature, I know they bring the creature to a water park / aquarium type thing which is also Jaws 3, I think. Yes, it's Jaws, because it's not Jaws the Revenge, and it's not Jaws 2. So it's Jaws 3, they capture the great white and bring it to a water park. It doesn't turn out to be Jaws, but that's the idea. So again, but Spielberg didn't do Jaws 3, so but evidence that this movie, like all of these movies, had far-reaching influence. I could go on, even though it doesn't seem like I could because I've paused so often trying to think of more to say. But I could go on. I'm not going to. It's been quite long enough. But I'll have more to say about the creature tomorrow, because tomorrow is Revenge of the Creature. Let me make sure that I'm right on that. Yes, tomorrow is Revenge of the Creature. We're into the 50s now. We've been into the 50s as of Abbott and Costello. And the technology keeps getting better. The underwater shots in this are amazing, and I'm sure they were even more amazing at the time. But I'm going on, and I shouldn't. Have a lovely midnight.